What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. So today I wanted to talk about a character that when the character dropped there was a lot of mixed opinions about him, but I think overall in season 3 people have a pretty positive look on this character, and I think this character is super dope. It's actually Super Broly. If you like the content I'm putting out, please consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not. It does help the channel grow and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So Super Broly. So in season 2 we actually were kind of memed by Bandai Namco when it came to this character and Gogeta. They announced them really early in the year when they dropped the Super Broly movie. That movie was pretty dope. And season 2 Broly was actually the last character they released in season 2. By the time he released in season 2, we were already very deep into the double beam. Snap was being mega optimized at the time. A lot of people were feeling all sorts of ways about even playing one tall character on their team. We won't go into whether or not these things are correct, but it did really discourage people from playing him when he came out. Now, that being said though, I really liked this character when he dropped, and I really like him right now. And the thing that I really like about his design is that he kind of has a traditional fighting game design compared to other Dragon Ball characters. And the way they express it in this game is really nice, and I wish they did this with more characters. So let's take a glance at him first. So he has a pretty unique moveset compared to other characters. It's really evident when you look at moves like his 2L. Here's our good friend, the main character, Goku. So Goku's 2L is like everyone's 2L, basically. It's not a low. Some characters have a low one, some characters have a mid one, but it's generally, they're on the ground, they're punching you in the knees or somewhere else. But Broly, Super Broly, he punches really high in the air with this move. It's the same speed as, you know, other fast jabs. It's 6 frames despite the kind of weird animation, but he punches above his head and he's a big character. His moveset in general is, well, as far as normals, are like a lot of big characters. He just has big moves that advance, like this is his 5L, here's his 5LL, here's his 5M for instance, his 5H is a tackle that goes pretty far, his air normals are huge, this is a JLMH. As far as Ki Blast, pretty standard, right? So here's his normal Ki Blast, air Ki Blast, kind of a shallow angle if you look at it, similar to Vegeto's JS more than like an SSJ Vegeta JS. So for special moves you have the Earthquake. This is a pretty good move because it's a dive, but unlike other dives it creates a very large traveling shockwave that reaches from full screen, so he can go from the air to the ground and create a really large wave. He's got a command grab for his 2 and 4 series. We are pretty familiar with this already. It's a 24 frame one, so it's reactable. As far as command grabs in the game, this is basically the edge of usable command grabs in offense. There are a bunch of characters who have 24 frame command grabs right now. And to help him out a little bit in pressure situations, if you really have the read, he has a move from other fighting games that Arxis have made where he has an anti-air command grab that you could use to stop them from jumping. He has a 2 and 4S which hits people standing, but not crouching. So generally you're going to see people just using this in combos. So of course normal Broly has Eraser Blow, but he has an anti-air one that goes up, which works really well in conjunction with beams for neutral control. And you might be like, man, like that's cool that he has this anti-air projectile, but he has no ground projectile besides Ki Blast, but he has a 2S that is a beam. So the thing that I really like about this character, now that we've looked at his general moveset, is that he is designed very differently from other characters in this game. When I said earlier that he is designed more like a normal fighting game character, what I mean is that a lot of characters, we have SSJ Vegeta here, for example, they are built with like, this is what they're good at and they're bad at everything else. Like SSJ Vegeta, great Ki Blast game, you know, he's mobile, he has good defense, but he doesn't have a beam, for instance, so you can counterplay his Ki Blast pretty hard. For the most part, the reason why you see people jump and do Ki Blast with him a lot is because they know they can't do ground Ki Blast because they will lose to beams, so they have to jump. You need to use your assist to cover these flaws generally. When you combine it with stuff like beams, then you get way more control. Your character gets stronger, but it's because you use the resource of the assist. The characters generally in Dragon Ball are designed to have really major flaws you cover with assists. So Super Broly, on the other hand, basically has all the important things you need to play neutral. He has a pretty non-committal, like anti-jump slash anti-air. This move is like not an anti-air per se, but it's good at stopping jumping. A lot of characters don't have moves that go super high like that are quick, so you could bring them down to the ground, and he's a command grab character, which helps his offense out a lot. He controls a ton of angles on the screen, so he's got like key blast, he's got going from the air to the ground like this, he's got anti-air like that, he's got going to the air from the air to the ground like this as well, so he has multiple ways to alter his momentum in addition to system mechanics. And his air normals are really big, so when you look at him and compare him to normal Dragon Ball characters, he actually doesn't have that many like flaws straight up. So what's nice about him is that when you play him, he feels strong because he has tools in neutral for a lot of situations. He feels threatening when you are playing against him, but after you play against him for a little while, you can see that there are actual like gaps in his play. But it's different from standard Dragon Ball characters, where it's like they blatantly have this huge issue that they either make up for it with a resource or they have to use assists. For another example, we have GT Goku. So I did not forget, by the way, a lot of people when this character came out said his neutral was not good, mostly because he does not have Ki Blast. Instead, he has the Power Pole. So what he had to use was beams. So he has like the up beam and he has the cell beam and moves that travel quickly. So he has tackle, air tackle, orbs, and EX orb to like get over to you. So alone, even his strong EX moves like orb alone, you know, it's -4, -5. He has air options, so he can like retreat or like dash in. He can play that guessing game. The strength of it comes out when you have an assist, because the assist will cover him. He travels immediately towards you. It tracks. It's super easy to hit confirm, and you're just in. And you're plus, you get to run your offense right away. You don't even have to aim. He just goes over to you. Super BROLY, like anyone else, becomes stronger when he has assists available. You get to do things like, say, this, and pull up on them, but he could also just do these things on his own if you are skilled with him. So if you don't have an assist and you see people jumping, you could just aim that eraser blow. Another thing I really like about him that's different compared to basically everybody in the cast is the way his pressure is set up. Of course, they really like putting command grabs in the game because it's a direct 50-50, so the defender can immediately interact with it. If they think you're going to command grab, they can mash, they can jump, they can level 3 instead of having to sit there and block. But the way he can enforce it is pretty interesting because he has a lot of extra normals that other characters don't have. The main one is having extra 2Ms. Of course, there are gaps where you can do something, but he could choose to do nothing. If he is unsure what you're going to do, he does have safe options he can end in that stay like -5. So for instance, he can make this airtight. So he can take a big risk and try to call you out for jumping with the anti-air grab. He could command grab you, which would be reflect or blocking, or he could reset pressure if he thinks you're not sure and keep going. So what most characters in this game tend to do, and I'm going to use GT Goku as an example again, is that if you have enough block stun to work with, they get like their high-low. Some characters are good at left-rights, so GT Goku and Trunks are both good at that. If not all characters have command grabs, so you can use the system, aka Dragon Rush, to try to get them and get a big return. But since characters mainly hit you with high-lows and sometimes left-rights, their pressure is usually pretty similar. Like you just try to do your string into whatever, so you could go for your high-low, whatever it is. And if you don't have the assist available, you play a guessing game of where am I going to stop and try to reset. So in the case of GT Goku, he has a couple of things he could do. He could either go into 2S and move, because it makes him airborne, so he's safer. He can retreat, he can move in, he can play that guessing game with you. He has safe unblock special moves, which means you can play the guessing game of using backdash or taking your turn by jabbing, that type of guessing game. He has safe jabs too, so he can play this type of game. Jabs are really short total duration, so mashing here is pretty risky and it's hard to see, as opposed to going deeper in a string and going like this. But for the most part, the majority of Dragon Ball characters do something like that. They try to just go into their safe move and then play a guessing game around resetting so that they can get their assist back if their assist is coming back, or take their turn back to try to open you up one more time. So all in all, he's a really unique character. One of the things I like definitely the most about him is how strong you feel while playing him, because they just decided to give him good tools that work in situations. A bunch of characters, especially when you don't have assists, as I said before, even really strong characters have a spot where they are exceptionally weak without assists, and Super BROLY, the arguable one is that he's not that good at actually anti-airing you. He's good at stopping you from jumping, so which means you have to like kind of preempt. Besides that, he is just really strong and stable overall, even when he doesn't have assists, and it lets him play in a really flexible way. You can play him on point, you can play him on the middle, you can play him anchor, and his assist spread helps you out with this as well. So since he has a beam C assist and an anti-air B assist that's a projectile like GT Goku's, you really can play him in whatever slot you want. And if you want to add him to your team, he will definitely help out a bunch. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Again, I did like the character when he dropped. I played him a little bit, and I was thinking pretty seriously about playing him in season 3, but I decided to go with Z BROLY instead. And basically from now on, like every patch, I'm looking at Super BROLY every time for those reasons I listed before. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.